And let me give that a little stir.
Yeah,
You've got this
toss it.
colorful
Yeah.
salad. And I know you're really big on helping people economize and fit healthy cooking into their lifestyle because you've done that.
Absolutely.
And one of the things that I like to emphasize is shop ahead, chop ahead, and cook ahead. So you always have healthy food
like
on
that,
hand when hunger strikes. So it's either cooked, cooking, ready to be cooked, or ready to be tossed. And so let's say you're making this salad. Even if you're just cooking for 1 or 2 people, make the salad because that leftover salad, that's going to make it easy to pull lunch together.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
Tomorrow, you toss your salad dressing in the morning, or maybe you put it in a container and you put your dressing in a little, empty spice jar. You take some leftover roast chicken from the night before, maybe some leftover baked sweet potato or a leftover cup of soup from the night before. You pack it, and you've got this phenomenal lunch.
Wow.
With your planned leftovers.
Yeah, that's so great.
And so don't think of like, I'm just making for a single meal. You want to be cooking with multiple meals in mind. And I actually dedicated 3 entire chapters in the Garden of Eating to meal and menu planning so that I could start to kind of reshape the way people think about food prep and fit it into their lifestyle and learn how to think in terms of, cooking, planning, putting it all together. Because a lot of people just don't have experience in that area. So then they say, oh, I don't have ingredients on hand, or I'm hungry and it's not ready. But, I put a lot in there because I wanted people to really get the tips they need so that they can make this a lifestyle.
Wow, make it really practical.
Yes.
And not a fad diet of any sort, but a really long-lasting change in their life.
Exactly.
Yeah, that is so cool. I love that.
Yeah, because practical, you want it delicious, you want it nutritious, colorful, and all of those things are within reach. People say sometimes, oh, it's so expensive to eat well. If you focus on these raw materials, the fresh vegetables, the things like baked or roasted chicken, baked sweet potatoes, little simple homemade dressings, things like that, it doesn't have to cost a lot. It's really the packaged food and the processed foods and the pre-made things that cost so much. But these raw materials, you can make so many meals at home, like I mentioned, so many more than if you were to go and buy the comparable quality of food in a restaurant.
Exactly. Yeah, it's absolutely true. And when it comes to when we're talking about money, it's so much cheaper to stay healthy rather than pay the price for years and years and years with medical problems when you don't take care of yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely.
And it's also even you can think like definitely long term. You're making an investment in your health.
Yeah.
But even short term, I have been amazed. Some of my cooking students and book customers have said within several days or a week of changing how they eat and eating really fresh food, as close to the way God and Mother Nature made it as possible. Some people within days find they have so much more energy.
Yeah.
And these were people, I've talked to people who, they got a lot done already.
Definitely.
But just making some simple changes in their shopping, cooking, and eating, and they have more energy. So I think it's good to emphasize for people the long-term payoff for eating well, but also the short-term payoff in terms of just energy and mental clarity that people might take for granted.
Yeah, exactly. It really is. It's that instant jump, when you put the right fuel into your body. You don't put olive oil into your car because that's improper fuel.
Right.
And so that's why we want to make sure that we're putting the right kind of nutrients in our bodies, and that we literally do have all this energy to do the things we want to do.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's so good. So then do we want to go ahead and put the dressing?
We've got a little bit on here. I'm going to put just a tiny bit more on, but I want you to just taste this.
All right.
And also, when you taste it, you might consider just putting a tiny bit of sea salt on if you want. Sometimes a little bit of sea salt can punch up the flavor, but also you might find it's great as is. We have a little bit of avocado that we tossed with a little bit of lemon juice to keep the color. And this is just one example of what you could do with the salad, but obviously there are tons of variations on salad that you could make every few days.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
Yeah, you like that kind of the tanginess of the lemon and then the little herby flavor that comes through.
There's not a single element that's overpowering any other. It flows together very nicely.
Yeah, and I find some of when I've had restaurants, make salads and dressings. Sometimes they're way too sour, really sharp on the vinegar or something like that. Whereas you make it at home and you can adjust the tartness, the sweetness, and then obviously you put in the quality ingredients that most restaurants don't. Most people would be shocked if they knew about the effects of refined vegetable oils, and then if they knew the quality that most restaurants buy.
Wow.
I've been in restaurants where they don't even have olive oil in the house. I mean, they don't have it. They just have something that's just vegetable oil or canola oil. Mass produced, high heat, lots of chemicals, lots of solvents. And people are eating that stuff every day if they're leaving their food to chance and eating most of their meals out or packaged.
Yeah, and just assuming that it's going to be healthy for them.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, who knows about oil unless you really delved into it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I like it with the sea salt.
Yeah, and a good quality sea salt makes a big difference too. Most of what's sold as sea salt is 99.99% sodium chloride.
Really?
If you look at Redmond real salt, it's got 50 different trace minerals. If you look at Celtic sea salt, it's got 83 different trace minerals.
Oh, wow.
And then the Himalayan sea salt has a broad spectrum of minerals too. And that makes a difference too. So it's not just a sharp, salty taste. You're getting magnesium, and you're getting a lot of other elements that we need that are missing from the refined salt.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely. Man, that is so good. So there's so much health packed into this. And I really love, what was the line that you said? You said shop ahead,
shop ahead, and cook ahead. So you always have healthy food on hand when hunger strikes.
Wow.
And you can make that a habit. Like I said, there's a whole system that I outlined in the Garden of Eating so that people can start to do extra things on the weekend.
Yeah.
And then there are other things you could do a little bit each day. So you don't have to start from scratch every day. You don't have to make every meal from scratch.
Yeah.
But if you get a jump start on the week by doing extra things on the weekend, cooking ahead, freezing some things, then it's going to mean there's less to do each day, but you can still be eating produce-rich meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day.
Yeah.
And it's creating that system that makes it sustainable. And I know you're all about sustainability.
Yeah.
And people wonder, you know, they get started with something with enthusiasm, but unless they have a system, unless they have a way to make it sustainable, they're likely to start it and then fall off because they don't have the tools to keep it going.
Exactly. Yeah, that's so true. And I really believe that it's best to start simple and not just dive into all this pressure to be perfect.
Right.
You know, I think perfection is a lie. You should strive for gradual improvement.
Yes.
And so I think just starting with, you know, things like what you offer in your book and, you know, other resources that really teach people, hey, you can start simple and start making small changes in your life. And eventually, you know, in a certain amount of time, looking back, your life will look completely different.
Yes.
All because you decided to take action instead of putting it off.
And your body, because a lot of people want to reshape their bodies and they don't realize, okay, it's not a quick fix. This is, you're nourishing yourself, and then a side effect is it's going to be easier for your body to get to its natural, healthiest weight if you're putting in good fuel.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's how we should look at it as well, is the weight loss is obviously is desired, but it should be one of those things where we put our health first.
Yes.
And then the weight loss will come.
Yes.
I heard it once where, you know, you didn't gain it all in 3 weeks. And so you shouldn't lose it all in 3 weeks because that's not healthy.
Exactly.
So yeah. That's so good. That's cool.
Yeah. So, you know, people are looking for more recipes, more tips. I have a website and a blog.
Oh, perfect.
And my blog is thehealthycookingcoach.com. Make sure you have THE, so thehealthycookingcoach.com. They can read about my 2 cookbooks and my cooking DVD.
Awesome.
They can subscribe to get updates. I also have lots of recipes and pictures.
All on the website?
All on the website.
Okay, cool.
And also at planetarypress.net, they can buy the cookbooks as well. So
cool.
They're there to pass on what I've learned and save people years of fumbling around trying to figure out how to put it all together.
Yeah, you can get off on the right start. Thank you so much, Rachel. We really appreciate having you here. And I'm sure our viewers love having you. And, you know, I'm really looking forward to doing more of this in the future so that we can all learn to practice living just healthier, simpler lives.
All right.